Popular dating apps could be facing some significant legal challenges after a report revealed the platforms are passing on private information to third-party companies. It alleges the moves by the likes of OkCupid and Tinder are in breach of European data protection laws. Now, it's claimed the apps are giving data to advertisers and analytic partners, including Facebook, and that includes your sexual preferences, political views, and even if you have a history of drug taking. One platform, Grindr, was hit by scandal in 2018 when it was revealed to be sharing people's HIV status. A spokesperson for Match Group, which owns a number of major dating apps, stressed the company takes the privacy of user information very seriously.
Unlike other tech companies whose model relies on the sale of personal information, ours is subscription-based and reliant on engendering trust and a great experience for users.
We discussed the importance of protecting our online information with political commentator Mo Ansar and Yayo Cohen, an internet law expert.
It is not being made very clear to users of the app what they are actually signing for. And there is an obligation under GDPR for users to give an informed consent for their data to be used for whatever purposes the provider will want to use the data.
I think the position is relatively clear. Once upon a time, we had an unregulated internet. Social media companies weren't being held to any kind of scrutiny, any kind of standard. We're now in a situation where you can download Grindr, tick the terms and conditions, and you sign up and use their app or use their facilities as you can with any social media platform. Whether it's a dating site or not is irrelevant. If you don't want your data to be shared, don't join the app. When people tick the Windows update or the Apple iOS update or install an app, they often tick the terms and conditions. They just scroll through without reading. And that is a problem we have. On almost everything, there are reams and reams of information there which nobody is reading, so nobody gets to understand what they're signing up to.
There is what we call Unfair Contract Act, which effectively protects consumers.
The Unfair Contract Terms Act 1977 doesn't apply in this situation.
Which effectively protect consumers in the event that they sign into something they didn't fully appreciate or understood. And it places the burden on
you're putting
the
a fast one here. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but the Unfair Contract Terms Act was designed to bring in legislation to protect people from entering into contracts when they did not know the terms and conditions in advance.
Now, the other side of this thing, of course, is that it seems to me that data is being channeled through 3 or 4 different sources, brokers, effectively, before it ends up with insurance companies, with all sorts of other organizations, perhaps political parties. But the social media companies don't send directly the data to those organizations. They channel the data through all sorts of brokers. And this is what is really worrying about it, because it becomes impossible for users to know how their data is going to be used for what purposes, which means the users are unable to give informed consent for the use of the data, which is in clear breach of GDPR. And I'm pretty sure that there are going to be some consequences for this.
Western intelligence organizations have access to 100% data gathering by the likes of Vodafone and GCHQ. The Americans actually farm out their mass surveillance to Britain. So UK does it on behalf of the Americans. They can bypass the warrant regime. So this information, whether you are sexting or whether you're doing your work or whether you are just doing selfies or social media or education, whatever you're using your phones and your online devices for, your information is currently being mass surveilled. And if you're not sure, you should go and find out. This information is then being used by the government. Data surveillance is here. Whether you like it or not, mass surveillance is here.
There is a very good case to assume that the data will be sold on to perhaps somebody else who has got an interest in that information. I don't know who that body is going to be. I don't know who that organization is going to be. But this is what is so worrying about it, that to us, at first sight, this transfer of data seemed to make very little sense. However, I believe that there is a game plan behind this, and that there's a lot of money being exchanged in return for this data.